We're going to talk to you about Elasticsearch and what we've been doing at Firewater with early testing of that, what Mike has been doing at our first Elastic tester. I'm Andrew from Firewater. We've got Nick also from Firewater and Micah from the Elasticsearch. They're going to talk for a while. I'm going to talk later.
Thanks, Andrew. So I'm going to talk first just to kind of outline where we are at with Elastic and give you guys kind of an overview of where Koha is at with Elastic as well. So the first thing I just want to touch on is Zebra. Why don't we want to use them? Okay, is that better? So one of the things about Zebra is a great search. Do not get me wrong. I'm not going to say that. But Zebra is highly flexible. That is what it is built. It's built for life. Oh. It is built for life, which is great in terms of searching and relevancy and a lot of the things we want to do. But in terms of flexibility and giving us any other options or doing different things, it's not real open to that. When we're looking at other formats other than MARC, we don't have that option. Another thing about Zebra, it's for library. It is used by library. As far as I know, koha is able to say that when we have a problem with Zebra, we don't have anyone to go to. It's all us. Elastic is used by so many people. It's used by Stack Overflow, other people. And there's just a lot of projects out there. If you Google Elasticsearch questions about it, you're going to get results. Maybe more than you want. The Zebra documentation. Have any of you ever gone and read the Zebra documentation? You all look sane, so no, you haven't. It is inscrutable at best. Elasticsearch has a very clear documentation. Some of it is almost, a little too clear. It seems a little basic, but it actually, once you can test it, you can see that it is explaining exactly. With Zebra, every one of you out here who's using Zebra, we have a Zebra server running which is nice, but that means if your instance of Zebra goes down, you're done. Elastic is we build a cluster. If we need more resources, we set another. Okay. If one of those servers goes down, Elastic manages everything to make sure that it stays up. Redundancy, and lastly, Elastic uses a password. This is really great for us, just because it's going to allow us more ways. We're not limited to a Zebra connection. We can interact with the API. We can do things on the web front end. We can pull more data from the search results. So it really opens up. Thank you. So currently, there are we're working on here with ES and koha integration. Is working with indexing. Indexing with Elastic is faster out of the box, which is nice. I don't know how many of you are aware, but to do a Zebra reindex takes a long time. It's a very slow process. So if we need to rebuild one of your sites, you're going to. With Elastic, there are options for doing things like index background, so that you can keep searching while we're doing that. We are working on the issue too right now, though. If you are using Elastic and Zebra, you switch for some reason back to Zebra, we don't index Elastic. We don't have a queue for Elastic. That's one of the things. Sometimes configuration. Elasticsearch has a lot of options. You can decide how you're going to configure it. You can decide what indexing you're going to use. You can decide how you're going to build it. Elastic has a lot of tools. They're very organizers, stemmers, analyzers that basically take the content of a term. So they take the title of a record and they can strip out stop words normalize it in terms of capitalization. If you normalize it, Elastic so much better than Zebra. Zebra ICD performance. One of the great things that we've discovered in Elastic is if you've ever done single letter or push Zebra, you realize they can be really slow. Elastic. Other than that, the API is fast. Zebra is a fast. Keeping up with TF. Right now in the community, we are running version 5.6 of Elastic, I believe. Elasticsearch, the production version, is released 7.1.2. So we need to make sure that we keep the koha integration. Elastic is C39. A lot of people out there, even after this, are still going to need. If you have services rely on that, right now, you're going to need to keep Zebra running. We're looking at ways to run Zebra simulated. All right. So, Elasticsearch. Now that we have it, what do we need to do? So the first thing that we're kind of looking to is Elasticsearch out of the box. It gives you a lot of options. So we're working on ways to build down those options to some of these reasons. With Zebra, we've never had to like decide we were trying to provide set data to we want to get to Elastic. We switch to Elastic. We can give you identifying the assembly. So I'm gonna guess that after this conversation, a lot of you are gonna have does Elastic. And the answer to most of them, yeah. But koha doesn't. There's a lot of things that are possible with koha or with Elastic that we haven't yet built. So that's where we're gonna have the opportunity for new development. Exploring possibilities. Elastic, as I said at the beginning, is more flexible, which means that we can do new things we've never really thought about doing. Elastic is used by a lot of companies and places as a statistical reporting. You can connect it to Grafana, you can do charts, you can do graphs, you can do all sorts of good things. And if we take things like our statistical data, our log data, and instead of keeping them in the database or using like reports, we can put them in Elastic. So we can do new reports that we're not doing. SQL is great, but it's really meant for just getting the data out, not so much meant for out in Elastic. Connecting. What I'm excited about, this is the same with the API. If we have two sites using Elastic, we can get relevant results together. It's just an API that we hit. We can easily hit that two more places in. We could build new patterns. We haven't yet. It's a possibility. But it's one of the things that I'm really excited about. Or, indexing separate collections into your database. So that you wouldn't necessarily need to have MARC records, but you could build an index of, say, Gutenberg. We could index the Gutenberg book, have them searchable for all the libraries to use as one index. Really. And just reimagine it. As I said, we don't have to just put our records into it. We can put our pictures. We can put any other data that we want. It's kind of blue sky. Think about what you do and try it out. And it's going to let you go.
So, it's not a strong mic, is it? Okay. So I would like to share with you what we have done with Elastic at Lancaster Theological Seminary. So the first part was kind of our planning pre-work stage. So of the things we thought about when we were asked, hey, do you want to test Elastic? So one of the first things we thought about was, what's the risk on, for our patron experience? We decided, well, it's kind of minimal risk. The way we're set up at Lancaster Theological Seminary is we have the EDS, ESCO Discovery Service API plugin running on our koha instance. And discovery searches are the default when folks come to visit our OPAC. So even though we have like nice little notice that's up on our OPAC saying, hey, there are 2 ways to search. You can discover and you can search just the catalog. Most people tend to not change the default option, and they do most of their searching and discovery. So for the patrons, we were thinking, well, they're really not going to notice, and it's mostly just going to be the staff that's inconvenient. The other consideration we had was timing. And where I work, is there ever really a good time? No. You would think, being at an academic institution, that maybe summers are light and that would be a good time, but not where I am. We tend to have something going on just about every month of the year. So it was mostly, what was good timing for Nick, which happened to be the last week of January, which was near the end of our second term. We're on a 3-term schedule. So yeah, there's not really a good time, but we did it anyway. To help prepare, we decided, I talked with my staff ahead of time, and I said, okay, what we're going to need to do when we turn this on is we're going to need to record all of your search experiences. I said, I want to know everything. I want to know if it turned out the way you wanted it to, or if it didn't turn out right. And so we decided that the best way to share that information would be in a Google Doc. So we set up a Google Doc, and they just entered in the date and their name and what they had searched for and what the result was. And if it was something that was a positive, that was great. We didn't need to go any further. But if it was something where the results just weren't quite right, then that was something that I would take and try to replicate and then expand on before reaching out to them. So that was kind of our test plan. Looking back, it would have been a very good idea to do that type of close observation of searching before we switched over to Elastic. So when we were still on Zebra, it would have been very helpful to just spend 2 or 3 days kind of recording, okay, I did this search and this is the result. I did this search and this is the result. I wish this could have been better. Or, I did this keyword search and the title that I was really looking for was number 6 on the list. Why did that happen? Things like that would have been helpful to know before, because we discovered once we switched over to Elastic, it was really hard to remember what did it look like when we searched in Zebra. So having a record of that would have been helpful. And it also would have been helpful to note, really think about, okay, what's been annoying us for the past few years with Zebra, and that could then feed into the goals that we would have for Elastic. So when we flipped the switch, these were some of the things that we noticed right off the bat. Positives were that fancy search syntax worked a whole lot better than it did in Zebra. So I had one staff member who reported, oh, I can put a minus sign before a keyword in my keyword search string, and it returned results without that keyword. This is awesome. So actually, she didn't say it quite that way. She's not that enthusiastic. But so that was a really positive thing. With that, though, as we were continuing to do more searches, we discovered that there's a lot of syntax that can be learned and used in Elasticsearch to really do some very specific, very powerful searches. So, if you've got spaces and any kind of complex logic, you've got the option to use asterisk for a wildcard or a question mark if it's a single character wildcard. You can use parentheses, Boolean operators, quotation marks. You have those little index CCL commands. All of that to combine into a very complex search string to get just exactly the search results you're looking for. So that was an opportunity for us as well. Some of the things that were the thorns, the little pitfalls, we discovered part of my testing was to go into WorldCat. The settings set up in WorldCat here. The link, you look at WorldCat, the library folder, the library name, and click take reference to that library's catalog and the records in that catalog. Well, we discovered that some of those links were not working. And the reason why is because some of our 001 fields have a leading 0 in the CLC number. And so here's the question, did it work before? Did it work with Zebra? No. But it's not working now. So we're going to have to use some parameters. We also, one of the things we very quickly realized was punctuation in the searches was very problematic. Anytime there was apostrophe, hyphen, commas, all of that is very problematic. We had to turn off the period of punctuation preference. And once that was turned off, it was improved. The colon continues to be very troublesome. So I have my librarian who does searching for analog results. He likes to grab the full, title and subtitle in his searches, and there's a colon in there between the title and the subtitle, and that would throw off our search results. So that we were able to file them and questions. So that's now done. The other thing that changed that I was not prepared for was that when you switch to Elastic, actual URL syntax of a search changes. So we have several places within our library guide and even like with our regular newsletter that we send out, I have a link that runs the search to show all of the new books in our collection. So all of those URLs work when we switch to Elastic. So, the other things that we found as we were searching, problems that we ran into, a lot of them were caused by MARC fields that were either not mapped or not mapped at all or not mapped correctly. So there were many opportunities for us to think about mapping and the mapping of MARC fields to search index. So some of the examples of things that had not previously been mapped was the 952p. So I have my staff who's trying to look up a book, they've got it in hand, they're typing in the barcode number, and it doesn't come up as a search result. That was a big problem. So we got that fixed pretty quickly. Back with the issue with the colons, the titles, the subtitles, the 245b had not been indexed yet. So we had to add that into the mapping as well. We also discovered through the linked data. So this is your where in your record you've got your authors, your subject headings, all of those are linked. So when you click on those, they execute searches. We noticed by clicking some of those linked data that there were more subfields that needed to be mapped correctly. So like advanced subject searches, if you've got a subject heading that has multiple subheadings, we were discovering that some of those subject subheadings had not been subject subfields had not been mapped as well. So in the process, though, of thinking about the MARC fields that were mapped and the MARC fields that we were adding to the mapping, it gave us an opportunity to ask, okay, well, what MARC fields and subfields do we really want to search for? Where do we want them to be indexed? Which search indexes do they want to be in? And we tried to ask that question not just for ourselves and our specific library context, but what would be most beneficial to the Koha community at large. So understanding that yes, we have the ability to customize this specifically for our collection, but understanding that we're not just one library doing this, that we're trying to pave the way for a lot of Koha libraries to do this. And so as we were thinking about those questions, we talked about how standardized search index names are very important. And I think that's a bug in the community that's been worked on because at the time we switched over, not all of the search indexes had the same format. And also, we were realizing too that the way we map impacts relevancy ranking. So this is another thing that you have the ability to control with Elastic is that you can set your own relevance ranking stuff. So that's my fallback word. Waiting, thank you. So this is it was after we decided that Elastic could work for us and that we really were going to stay on Elastic because that was a question. We weren't totally sure, or Nick wasn't totally sure that we would want to stay on Elastic. I said, no, we can make it work. We can make it work. So once we said, yep, we're going to stay on Elastic and we're just going to keep going on this path, then we were able to implement the relevancy ranking piece of it. So in coming up with our relevancy ranking recipe, I brought my staff together and I said, okay, what are the top search terms that are most important in weighting results so that we get the right results up at the top of the search results. And I guess it's just as a background, if you think about every word that's indexed in your record is automatically assigned a value of 1. Okay? So when you run a search without any relevancy ranking, correct me if I'm wrong, when you run a search, so if you've got a keyword that's cats, you've got a keyword that's cats, and you have a record where the word cats appears 5 times, and then you have another record where the word cats appears 4 times. The one where it appears 5 times is going to be weighted ahead of the one that's got it mentioned 4 times because that one has a score of 5, and the other one has a score of 4. Well,
just to say, it is a slightly more complicated than that, but that is true. But it's not just counting the terms, but that's okay. Everything you said is true.
Thank you. Okay, so this is what you get when you get the layperson trying to explain how this stuff works. Okay, when you introduce the relevancy ranking, though, if cats appears in the title, and your title is got a higher weight, then even if cats only appears in the record 4 times, but one of those is in the title, then it will get a higher score than one that mentions cats 5 times but doesn't have cats in the title. Okay, so that's kind of that's the basic premise here. Okay, so we decided that these were the 5 things that we thought needed to be weighted more than anything else. So title, author, series, subject, and content. Okay. We then assigned values to those search indexes. At first we started with an incremental scale, and we weren't getting the results that we were looking for. So we switched to an exponential scale, and that seems to have given us what we want. So content gets 2, subject get 4, series 8, author 16, and title 32. Okay? So this is our relevancy ranking recipe. It does seem to work pretty well. One thing that I am considering is that you can reduce the ranking of some fields. You're not able to give a negative value, but you can give a value of less than 1. So something that we're thinking about is as we continue to test this, are there some fields that are being indexed that are kind of throwing off the results with the ranking that we might need to rate as less than 1. So where we are today, Zebra, what was that? We really don't remember. Elastic is working so well for us that there really has not been a need to go back to Zebra for anything. We are committed, at least I am, I don't know about the staff, but at least I am committed to helping squash more bugs with Elastic. So we're continuing to monitor and watch those bugs and hope to be able to sign off on some get testing sandbox stuff going better. Because I don't know about you all, but our records are a mess. And so this whole experiment has definitely increased our motivation to clean up our bibliographic records and also our authority records. I do have a project waiting to begin. It was supposed to begin this month. It'll probably be next month, but to really look at our authority records and start cleaning those up. So when I'm in the process of doing that, then that's where refining our relevancy ranking recipe is going to come in as we continue to test that in the process of cleaning our records. We have some foreign language titles in our collection, and I'm still very curious about how searching for those works and also filtering by language. So that's something that's kind of waiting. And again, we're cleaning up our records, we'll do that more. And we're also eagerly anticipating for the development for Elastic. And the way that's going to happen is with more users coming on and using Elastic, and also hopefully with some sponsored development to help continue to push it forward, which the one we're really excited about is bringing in some browse functionality into Koha.
Okay. So to close this out, I'm going to talk a little bit, or we're moving to going forward. I have given my slides unnecessarily complex transitions. So let's click some things. Okay, so I joined these meetings that Nick and Micah had been having once they were well underway. And through most of them, this has been Micah reporting her experience and Nick fixing her problems while I sit in Zoom and watch. So I've had a lot of time to think about the more, I don't know, esoteric parts of this, thinking about what this means for other people as they come onto Elastic. And my first day thought is that customization requires thought. And, oh, thank you, sir.
Just point at me.
Yeah, and we haven't been thinking about it. We've been on Zebra where we couldn't do anything. And we've had plenty of conversations where somebody comes to us and says, hey, can we do this? And we say, no, but you can in Elastic. And then we forget what they asked, and they forget what they asked. And now we're here, and we're like, oh, I wish I'd written those all down. So I hope you've been writing them all down. If you have, let us know. If you haven't, we're going to spend some time puzzling stuff out. Like, it's wonderful to tell people you can make your rating for your relevancy, do whatever you want. But it doesn't do us much good to plop you down on the system with blank weighting and say, okay, go for it. The world's your oyster. It just takes some fiddling and some figuring out what you really want to do. Cool. Also, customization means choices. We had a really long conversation one day between Micah, Nick, myself, and Ron, our other tester from the Atomo Public Library, about how to index the 245C title part. The bit that says, I think that's what it says, the bit that says this is season 5 of whatever TV show. Do we want it off in its own index? Do we want to keep it just in its title index? What are the ramifications for that, for weighting relevancy? And there were pros and cons in either direction. And it really felt like we had to make this choice that had its drawbacks. And it kind of hurt a little bit to think like either thing I picked, something better and something worse. And then I realized eventually we made all those, no, someone made all those same choices in Zebra. Those trade-offs were made, we just didn't have any say in it. But it feels really different to make that choice actively and know that you're giving something up. The other thing we've learned in our testing is that when this goes right, nobody notices or comments, which is good and bad. So Micah talked about how her students just don't really use the free search engine. So we didn't expect to hear anything back from them. But when we brought the Atomo Public Library on, we really kind of eagerly anticipated their patron feedback, and it never came. And of course it never came. Can you imagine any of your patrons coming to you and saying, I've noticed a change in your search engine. I really want to talk about how your relevancy has changed and life's waiting for them. So that's kind of a comfort and kind of a frustration, but that feedback's not going to happen, which complicates customization required thought. So it's hard to know what people are actually searching for. Okay, so that's my like touchy-feely esoteric bit. Let's talk about what comes next. So first off, we're ramping up our testing. Right now, Bywater has 2 partners on Elasticsearch. We've got a 3rd coming up very shortly. And starting next month, we're going to bring on even more testers. And we're really going to speed that up. Get more and more people on there. The jump from 1 tester to 2 testers revealed a whole bunch of stuff. We've got a lot to learn as we bring more people on. When we brought Atomo on, in their first day, they tried to do a batch import of MARC records, and we found out matching rules didn't work. Micah doesn't do batch imports of records. It's just not her workflow. And we were kind of gobsmacked. Oh, apparently that's been broken this whole time. So we will find new things, and it will be exciting. Oh, and we fixed. We should have just brought a list of all the bugs that Micah and Ron have found that we fixed. We see them. These are going forward. Okay, so next up, as we do that, if we bring on all those testers, we are at Bywater going to be building up build tools and certainty. So we need to know how to answer Elastic questions. Right now, like if we put everybody on Elastic tomorrow, Nick would get a lot of tips, and Nick would die. He would be sad. So we need to build up that knowledge base within Bywater. We kind of know what we're doing, and also that knowledge base like within the community. We need more users on it, more people know what's fun when bugs get filed or things come up. We also just need tools internally in Bywater for scalability, like server maintenance stuff that I don't understand, but I understand that these tools need to exist. And we need to have enough people on Elastic that we can say, I think we've got everything in place. I don't think there are any monsters hiding under the bed. So that's going to take some scaling up. And then we will set and announce a date that we're going to bring all our partners over to Elastic. That's a really big question. That's the question people ask me over and over again. My best answer for when will everyone go to Elastic right now is that's a very active conversation. Have an event on my calendar that is the date on which we next meet to discuss whether or not we're ready to do it. So that's where we are. There are just enough unknowns of, as we get up to 6, 7, 8 test partners, what's going to happen. And at some point in there, the problems we find are going to calm down. We're going to have those sort of set choices of this is what we're going to put on an academic library as a default. This is what we're going to put on the public library as a default. We're going to be ready to go. Not quite. So what can you do as we move forward? First off, I would say, this is sort of Bywater partner specific. Let us know if you want to be a tester. So I said we're like ramping that up and bringing lots more people on. I've got this much of a list of people who have told me they want to be Elastic testers. I probably need this much of a list. So let us know. Let me know specifically today. Or if you feel like maybe you shouldn't make that decision for your whole organization, we are going to be sending out an email to all our Bywater partners sometime soon, asking, do you want to do this? And if you're not a Bywater partner, if you're self-hosted, I don't know, just go for it. Turn it on. We talked a little bit yesterday about how being an Elastic partner or an Elastic tester has been kind of intensive. Like, I think Micah made that clear. She had a lot to do. That's going to get less true as we go forward. It's going to be an easier transition, but it's still, if you're an early Elastic tester in Bywater, expect to talk to it a lot. And it'll calm down. The partner will talk to it less than the third partner. And if you are self-hosted, expect to talk to the community a lot. I mean, this is new stuff that is getting on your mind. But, learn everything you can about how you're using it. So going back to Micah's note about how she wishes she had made notes about what did and didn't work in Zebra, or about how people were using Zebra, do this now. Have as much information as you can when you get to Elastic and you have to think about how to make things. We're looking within Bywater at how we can query and process the data we have about how searches happen. If you're Koha right now, you've got a saved searches table in your database that shows you every search anyone has been making while they're logged in. You can run a report and pull all those searches. I've looked at that table. I'm not quite sure yet how to take that data, print it, like aggregate it, and process it into something meaningful. So that's the fun project we're going to be working on. If you figure out anything, we'll let you know. That'll be an interesting blog post. I think there's some complicated regex that's going to happen. It's a thing. Hold on. Okay. And think about what's unique to your record. Micah mentioned a lot of like low-hanging fruits that they had to add to their index that should have been indexed in the first place, like your barcode. But if you have anything special in your records in some fields you really want to make sure gets indexed, we want to know that. We want to add that to your index. So give it some thought. What's important to you? What do you use out of the MARC records? And keep notes. I mentioned this already. Write this stuff down. Put it somewhere where you will remember it when it comes time to actually talk about implementing. And the second presentation in a row where I told people make a sandbox. Make you a little mental note to go home and write a blog post about how to make a sandbox, and then switch that sandbox over to Elastic. If you go to our Bywater sandbox tool and you make yourself a fun little koha, you can flip it to Elastic. They are all ready to go. You have that system preference switched to Elasticsearch. So if you want to go play with this today, you can. That's going to be doing Elastic searching in a test database with records you don't know. That's not going to be as illuminating as doing that on your own collection. But if you want to just fiddle around with syntax and see how it works, you can flip it back and forth. It is just a system preference that asks what search engine do you want. So flip it to Elastic, do some searches. Flip it to Zebra, do some searches again. Work as you like. While you're doing that, figure out what you like about Zebra so we can make sure Elastic preserves it. We've been kind of not very nice to Zebra as we get all excited about the shiny new Elastic, but it does some stuff well. So let's make sure that we don't lose any functionality as we move forward. And this is the sort of thing that we as a support company and we as the community, we need to hear from users about what is important, what needs to be kept. Otherwise, Nick is making choices for you based on what Nick thinks is cool. And sometimes that works. All right. Let's go to the next. There's no. Oh, that's the other slide. Oh, dang. I ran out of slides. We reached the part where yesterday when we ran through this, I thought, oh, I need to think about a closing. So,
Question? question?
So
Yeah, anybody got questions?
wait, I just want to run. I missed one of my slides. It's okay. I mean,
So sad. No, it's okay. Because at this point, most of them are hurt. So with our early adopters, like and Ron is not with us. Not that he's dead. He's not here. Fine. We've been testing academic several different stuff. And they are. Testing authorities, that's where we're looking at right now, making sure that that stuff works. Micah has been getting ready to do some authorities projects, so we are trying to make sure early on when we first brought them onto it, that was one of the big issues that we actually had to do a real quick upgrade to get to that person. This is what Andrew touched upon before, but just that your patrons aren't doing the same searches. And we need to support both of those, and we need to treat them differently. And I'm actually really excited just because Elastic has even further opportunities for dividing those out. There's a bug in the community that will specify which fields get searched with keyword search, and you can set separate fields for the outside. Shaking out the bug. Now this was funny. We were talking yesterday, and Micah was mentioning bugs that we had squashed, and I was saying, "Oh yeah, but those were tiny bugs." And she's like, "What do you mean our searching is entirely broken?" I'm like, "Yeah, but it was like a one-line fix, tiny bug." And so remember when you're talking to me about Elastic, that's my viewpoint. But I'm like, "Oh, it's an easy fix. Yeah, nothing works, but it's an easy fix." And as Andrew mentioned, we're working on our internal tooling convention. We need to be ready to, one, tell when the Elastic function is power, and two, know what to do when we have a problem. One of the things is, if you've ever asked me a question about Zebra, I probably made some sort of noise like, because I can't tell you how. I can't tell you how to fix the problem. With Elastic, the worst I will tell you is, I need to find that. There's always an answer. You might not like the answer, but there is an answer, and we can actually. That's all I want. Question? Once upon a time, first question. It's going to get easier. Right now, there are files on the back end that if you want to add it, so if you wanted to search 656, call it department. Okay, so you wanted to add department as an index and search it. We need to go into a file on the back end and add department as an index that Elastic recognizes. Once we've done that on the staff side, you can actually go in and say that department maps to 656. And that part of it, I believe you can make changes to without necessarily needing to re-index the whole collection. Now, if you added map 656 to the department and don't re-index everything, only the records that change after that will show up in the search. And so that's one of the caveats too, like you can change everything, but know that after you make a lot of changes, we're going to need to rebuild the index. As long as you have command line access, they are YAML files, so the syntax depends on how simple you think that is. I'm going to say that it's really simple, but it may not be to others.
It looks a lot like an XML file.
Yeah, when you've had it up, I've thought, I could figure out what that means, given time.
Yeah. It looks so. If the syntax is very similar to an XML file.
And what I will say too, if you ever looked at the Zebra error log, they give you code. They give you code. You have to look up the things. Elastic, the errors are human readable. I know. So playing around with it, it's a possibility. It is not out of the realm. And getting up to speed with Elastic, the documentation is really clear, and it does work very simply. There is an excellent presentation from an Elastic expert at KohaCon, which I highly recommend watching if you're going to be actually getting into Elastic investing yourself.
Do you mean how long does the process of transitioning take, or do you mean how long until we do that? Well, the how long until we do that is the nebulous. We've scheduled a meeting to decide when to schedule that. The how long does the process take? Very little time. There is some setup on the server that needs to happen. I believe we already have that all like in an Ansible playbook, which means you enter a command and it does it. So that's cool. And then you need to get re-indexed after we've switched you over. That's pretty easy. So
So I think, I mean, we were the first ones, right? So we encountered a lot more issues than, you know, someone who's going to be 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th after us. I would say we were heavily engaged for about 2 weeks there, like really looking at bugs and following up on bugs. Where like I was having email conversations, Slack conversations with Nick just about daily. And then I think at that 2-week mark, we decided that we would just keep it on. So yeah, that's what you remember.
Yeah, I mean that it was a lot of work up front with Lancaster. When we brought Ron up, so we were having meetings bi-weekly, essentially. Me, Andrew, Micah, we would sit down and talk about all that. We brought Ron up. We brought him into those meetings. After about 2 of those, I would say we didn't have a lot to talk about. Now, I should be clear, we have a lot to talk about philosophically in terms of what do we want to do, what do we want to do. There's a lot of reasons. But in terms of like, what are we going to do about this? Day to day, those were not issues.
yeah, I mean, I would say we're not going to move all of our partners to Elastic until we are reasonably certain that most, if not all of them, will be fine day one. That's not to say that you won't spend the next month tweaking your relevancy ranking to make it exactly what you want, but we don't want to move anybody over with the expectation that their first week will be putting out fires. There will be somebody who, like, for whatever reason that happens. That's what's gonna happen.
And you are all beautiful snowflakes. Every single one of you. Your libraries are all very different. So this is why we're bringing on more testers. We expect you to all do something different that we didn't expect. We love you.
I thought about adding a bullet point to my what you can do now slide to say, make your data perfect. Because that would help. Like if you all had pristine, standardized data, that'd be really slick as anything. We were talking yesterday about how the move from Zebra to Elastic was not unlike a migration in that you're suddenly looking at your data through a different lens, and you're going to find stuff that is weird, that has always been weird. You just didn't see it because it was sort of within the weird that Zebra could hide from you. And now Elastic shows it to you. And that's,
So just remove everything and recatalog every book one at a time.
yeah.
Yeah. First, reach consensus on how you catalog everything within the library.
Yeah. Step 1, standardized MARC formats across. Like, I don't know. That was a 5.
We're just having fun now, so.
Yeah. Ask us actual questions.
or I'll just talk. The biggest issue that we're dealing with still, I would say that's probably like a Elastic update queue.
Yeah, I would agree.
So when you make changes in Zebra, all the changes you make to all your records go into a Zebra queue where they hang out waiting for the system to go ahead and push those changes into your index. There is not a mirror process to that for Elastic right now. It's stuff happens at the moment you change it, or it doesn't happen. So building like a process that's going to bank all of those changes and then work through them will be cleaner and safer. But that's like super back end. Yeah. It is controlled in the staff end. You could at any point go in there and change your weighting. I always forget which parts of this then need us to poke a thing.
So the weightings are actually applied at query time. We don't apply them to the index because it's a little easier that way, and that means that you can change them on the fly. The minute you want to change relevancy, you change the numbers there, and it affects the searching. It doesn't currently affect the advanced search. So if you're searching a specific index, we're not going to weight title within that index. If we need to in the future, those are things we can look at. And just to highlight what I said before when I said that it was a little more complicated, out of the box, Elastic uses a version of PFIDF, which is the same relevancy function that Zebra uses. And it's term frequency inverse document frequency, which basically means, does the term show up a lot in this record? And then does it not show up in all of the other records? So a term that shows up in one record a bunch of times, but is not in many other records, is going to be highly relevant. Whereas a term that shows up in one record a lot, but also in all of the records in the catalog, doesn't get any sort of.
So this is the screen that shows all of the search fields, and then this is where you can enter the weight on the side. So if there's not a number entered, then it's just the default 1. But if there is a number entered, then that's the weight that it's given. So you see there are a lot of indexes. So you see that's where we get title as a 32, title series as 2, subject as 8. And these are all searchable. And then these tabs here, this bibliographic records tab, this tells you exactly, this is the mapping of which MARC field goes to which index. And you see that there are entries, so like for author title, for that index, it's mapping the 100, the 110, the 111, the 400T, the 410T, the 411T, the 700T, 710T, 711T, 800T, 810T, and 811T. So you see there's an entry for each MARC field that needs to be included in an index.
And this is something you would be able to come in and change, but then your site would need to be re-indexed.
And then these
which
are
is not hard, but yeah.
These are the authorities. So you get a similar setup for your authority subject, your authority index.
No. What happens if you do that? And that's another thing that we're working on. Right now, if you come in and make a change, like a breaking change to searching, then what happens is you change your indexes, searching doesn't work anymore until we re-index. So what we've done with, I won't get into the details because that's a tool that we're trying to figure out how to do that. Right now, you tell us what you want to change. We make the changes and re-index so that there is no effect.
But being able to see this information is really helpful from the librarian's perspective, because then I can say, to Nick, hey, this is the search behavior we're experiencing. I think that it's because of this particular mapping. And that makes it a lot easier for him to find out exactly what needs to be fixed. So that it's kind of, it's a team effort, you know,
For now.
for now. Now with the search fields though, with the weighting, you can touch that with the weights and change that without breaking anything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Fred, did you have another question? Yeah. Yeah.
It is 9:30, so I know there's another. Oh, just keep going. Okay. Right.
We're just gonna eat Jacob's. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
So I think when I said that Elastic is different, I fell into the trap again of saying Elastic is different. Koha has not changed. Koha is still very MARC-centric. But Elastic, once we've implemented for everybody, gives us the ability to change. And really, I think within the community, we're sort of trying to reach a critical mass so that all of the developers will learn Elastic. It's kind of been a waiting game for everybody to be like, are we going to use Elasticsearch? Are we going to move ahead? I'll learn it once I need to. And I think we are at that critical mass now. You know, we've talked a lot about what we are doing at Bywater. BibLead has, which is the French koha support company, one of the biggest ones. They have several partners using Elastic. The University of Helsinki has been running Elasticsearch on their own. There are several other places that are all running Elasticsearch and are involved in the community. So we can move towards those things. With Overdrive, they actually do let us access the MARC for the API, so we're probably still at this point. The tools that we've built to index in Elastic are built around MARC, but they don't have to.
Now we really need to be quiet.
I think we're getting there.
We're done.
Okay.